This is part 2 of my video for Dr. Schmall's couples class, and I'm continuing with EFT therapy. And in this portion of the video, I'm going to use interventions of evocative responding and restructuring. These are my clients, Samuel, and Samantha. We're back again. This is so I'm going to start now. So this is our 4th session. Thank you so much for session 3. I think I learned a lot in session 3, and like I did in session 3 at the beginning, I want to take some time to kind of summarize what I remember, and then I'd like you to tell me if you remember it the same way as me. So last week, and then I'll refer to session 2 as well, that in session 2 things seem to be going pretty well. You seem to be, kind of clicking and maybe getting a little momentum, and then something really seemed to change between session 2 and session 3. And in session 3, it really was like a setback. It seemed like, or a step back. That's what I remember. Is that what do you think? I'll start with Samuel this time. What do you think, Samuel?
Yeah. It felt like we took 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Okay.
I don't know how it felt like for you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. All right, and then we also talked about some homework last week, and that was for you to provide her with all of your file transfer protocol, all of your passwords and usernames for your phone, your passkey, everything. And as I recall, you said, I'm not going to cut my thumb off so you can have my fingerprint for my iPhone 10. I remember that. But beyond that, I seem to remember that you were willing to do that.
Yes.
So how did that go?
Well,
Did it transpire? Did it?
Yeah, I mean, like we discussed last session, she's not the type to want that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you did ask for it. I remember at least once, and I was fine with it. I have no problem with it.
What about you? What's your take on that? On how that went?
I think it went pretty well. I didn't even need to know. Just the fact that I did ask for it one time to see if he was willing. It was, I guess, in that way, it was sort of a test. But just the fact that was an option made me feel more at ease.
I completely understand that. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that it's definitely a twofold situation. One, that you're right, the gesture in and of itself really can mean something.
Yeah.
And then you might actually want to do it sometime. You might actually want to look through it sometime. So
yeah.
That's great. Okay, good. So what can you tell me about what's happened over the last week? What's happened between the last session and now here we are at session 4? Other than the homework. So you already said that. I mean, let's get into how are you feeling? How are you feeling this week?
I'm feeling pretty good. It definitely is a struggle to, I feel like I have to think about this every moment. But I feel better than I did last week, certainly. But I do definitely feel like I'm thinking about it constantly and trying to keep myself in the frame of mind of no, this isn't happening. This is he's not still cheating on me. It's fine. But
Okay.
I have to keep thinking about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's actually something that can be a part of a traumatizing experience, which trauma is not really a word that we've used yet, but that reliving the event can be a facet of that. And as you were talking, it struck me. I suppose this might seem obvious, but really a lot of our therapy so far has been centered around Samantha, and I'm wondering how that makes you feel, Samuel. Do you feel that way also, or do you feel like you're being left out of this process at all, or do you feel like too much of the focus, that I'm putting too much focus on Samantha?
No, I don't think so. We already talked about what happened, and I feel like now it's time to focus on, what's going on for Samantha, because I know I hurt her,
Okay.
and she's absolutely devastated. And so there should be a lot of focus.
Okay. So would you go so far as to say it's appropriate that she should be more of the focus of the healing process?
If
than
that's
you?
what she wants.
Not to say that you should be left out of it. And I'm not saying that at all.
I don't think that she should or should not. It's whatever works best for her, because I already did my wrongdoing, you know. So
Okay.
I'm kind of just letting things happen that works best for her.
How does that make you feel to hear him say that?
I appreciate it, but I'm also like, yeah, obviously this healing process is mostly me because he cheated on me. Even saying that. But I'm also like, okay, well, what led to that process? Like, obviously there's something, like, shouldn't we be working on both of us?
I want to go back, and I don't want to neglect your last statement, but the one before that, when you had kind of a visceral reaction. Can you tell me what was going on with you when that happened? When you said that?
Just like saying it out loud, like, makes me feel like cringy on the inside.
Like an actual physical sensation? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of talked about like how I think in feelings sometimes, and there's like this little hot ball of energy just right here that kind of like compresses when I say it. It like is a little bit painful.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It just like you know that feeling of disgust.
Okay.
That's kind of how it's very inward, but yeah, when I say that out loud, that like Sam cheated on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Back to Samuel, to hear Samantha say that, how does that make you feel? About them talking about how she described the shape of the physical pain sensation that she was feeling.
I feel helpless and very much at fault and responsible. I feel heartache because I love her so much, and I mean, it feels really bad to know that I hurt her.
It made it like, he says he feels bad, but I'm like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Like, why? What did I do? What did I do that made you want to go somewhere else? I just...
Can you? I think you said it very well. I mean, there's not much I can add to it, but I think, can you just look at him and say, how could you possibly have done this? I mean, I mean, maybe I'm suggesting you ask a question that has no answer, but I think that, and just a few sentences ago, Sam was apologizing again, and last week we talked about the fact that a true apology for an affair it occurs over time, and it is done multiple times, and you can say the same thing over and over again. That you can, to say you apologize, and I'm not suggesting you need to do it more than you are, but I will say that your apology sounds convincing to me, and it's not how it convinces me, but of course it's how it comes across to Samantha.
It's not that you haven't apologized enough, and I know you mean it, but it still doesn't change the fact that you did it. Like, how could you do that? I can't. Like, I'm sorry.
Don't. It's okay. I don't really know what to say. There's nothing that I can say that can undo the hurt and the damage that I've done. And that's a very difficult question, because no matter what I say, it won't change anything. All I can do is support her in what she needs and for me in the relationship, and continue to do the right thing from now on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a difficult question that I don't really know how to answer.
Are there Samuel? Are there things that are off the table for you? Things that ways you will not apologize, or things you will not tell her? Because I almost heard a bit of a wall there that maybe like you were saying. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a question I can't answer. You know, like she's saying, "How could you do this?" And it didn't really seem like you had an answer to that. Do you feel it's an unanswerable question, or what, or how would you? Can you add more to your response?
How I see it is, it's a question that, I mean, my answer is I don't know. Like, I love you, and I don't know why I chose to do something that I know would hurt you. So,
I mean, it had to be something, right?
it has nothing to do with you. I love you. It's my own issue. And so when I say I don't know how to answer this question, it has nothing to do with me not wanting to disclose anything, because at this point I just want to be as transparent as I can be, because I don't ever want her to go back to the hurt and the pain that I've caused her, you know?
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with,
Holding back.
yeah, it's a difficult question
Mm-hmm.
that I know won't do anything about what happened.
Are you saying that it sounds to me like you're saying two things. One, that if you could answer, it wouldn't help, but second of all, you can't answer. Am I right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's
Do
the
either of those
problem,
bother you?
isn't
Do either of those bother you, or?
I mean, like, that's the problem, isn't it? There's no answer, so how do you fix anything?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think we've kind of reached a bit of a stopping point here, so we will. Anything else you want to say before we end our session today?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I think I like your progress, and I'm happy with what we've done so far. I think we're making good progress, and as you know, this is not an overnight fix. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you next week.